Hey everybody, and happy Sunday. This video is being recorded on Sunday and it will premiere this afternoon. Guys, I woke up thinking about this video this morning, and I've spent a lot of the day running it over in my head how I really wanted this video to go. So, I was married to my ex-husband for 16 and a half years, and we only divorced after he became verbally, emotionally, psychologically, physically abusive, and the last 6 years of my life were pretty rough. So if anybody out there wants to say I don't know what I'm talking about, I do. I really, really do. And today I'm going to be talking about the good marriage, and we're going to go over signs of abuse and dangerous red flags in a marriage. This isn't meant for any one particular person, but yes, someone that I know is going through something very hard right now, and it really made me want to bring this on my YouTube channel, our community, because it is important, very important. Now, for those of us who believe in God and we get married under the guise and the vision and the protection of our Father, and we get married under the eyes of God, and we say the vows, and we talk about, for better or for worse, for sickness and in health, till death do us part. But when I say but, we don't ever expect to become spousal abuse survivors or victims of abuse from our spouse, our significant other, or any type of abuse from someone who's supposed to love and cherish us. It did. It took me a long time to leave my ex, but I will say that if I hadn't left, I don't know that I would even still be alive today if I had not left. I'm going to make that very clear. One thing about being in an abusive marriage, I was very guilty of this, and it made the situation so much worse. It made the tension in our marriage and relationship much worse, and that is pretending and making plans like you're going to leave your spouse and you don't, because that shows the abuser that you don't really plan to leave, and they're never going to believe you. After about the third time of, talking about leaving, saying you're going to leave, saying you're done with their behavior, looking at ads in newspapers, online for apartments. I was guilty of this. I did it, but I'm telling you, the longer you string that out, the worse the tension and the stress in your marriage is going to get. They are actually going to become more verbal, more violent, if someone that's supposed to love you throws a punch right past your head or your face and hits something else, that's a red flag, and you should be worried. You should be concerned. Just asking a question of your spouse and they fly off the handle and they blame you for every situation, that is a red flag. I want to tell you that whatever it is you continue to accept is what you will continue to get, and each time it's going to get worse and worse, because when you do all these little role plays and pretend like you're going to leave, but you haven't yet pulled the trigger, they are going to start ignoring you, and you're just going to be in the background. And then every time you try to communicate, they're going to erupt and blow up on you. Breaking stuff, throwing things, swinging punches that miss you. These are all red flags, blaming you for poor communication when they're the one erupting. I have now been in my second marriage since 2010. It has not been easy. I was very sick for many years of my second marriage as well as my first. I survived a sudden cardiac arrest right in front of my second husband, and he had to witness it, and he had to be there for my recovery to help me strengthen myself, to help me begin to walk again and use my hands, and to remind me not to overdo during my recovery. My second marriage has been through a lot. I'm now in my 4th year of survival. I'm doing really, really good. But has it always been a good marriage? Not all the time. There's been a lot of changes in me that I've been having to focus on, and my behavioral changes some of them actually, I believe, probably have gotten worse than before my cardiac arrest, and I'm having to work on that each and every day, because if I don't watch myself and pay attention to what I'm doing and saying, I keep repeating bad habits, and that's not good for my husband whatsoever. And he reminds me that some of my poor habits need to be worked on. I'm working on them as a survivor with some cognitive issues. I'm working on it. Overall, do I have a good marriage? Yes, I think we absolutely do, because God is in the forefront of my life, and God is in the forefront of my husband's life. We both believe in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. We believe that God is in control of our lives and our marriage. He's the one controlling our marriage each and every day. And we talk about that a lot, that we don't want to live our lives and our marriage and without God, without our Bible. And a couple of weeks ago, I remember we were just sitting here at the table. We were working on projects, and we got to talking about the Word. manifest. And my husband said he didn't think it was in the Bible. And I'm like, it's in there. It's in the Bible. And we wanted to know in depth what that word meant. And we sat down together and we opened our Bible. We even went on the internet and we did research and we did some digging to find that God's meaning for manifest was to reveal, to bring it forth, and to reveal His miracles, His word, His good works, the truths, all of it. And that is the actual meaning of the word manifest. And we sat here together and we did the work and we researched it together. We had probably an hour and a half to 2 hour discussion together on the word manifest. And to me, that's what a marriage should be. Having discussions about the word and what's in the word. And we were in agreement on the word and how it's misappropriated every day. And we worked together as a team to research it and to talk about it and to understand it. And yes, we have a good marriage. But do we argue? Sometimes we do. We argue a little bit. I am hearing impaired and I can't hear certain low tones. And so my husband is often mad because I ask him to repeat himself and I'll say, don't bend over. I can't hear certain words. Don't turn your back to me because I can't hear certain tones and certain words. He literally will have to be looking at me or right to my side, talking to me, looking at me for me to understand him. And that can often cause a little bit of a rift between us, but not knock down, drag out, screaming, hollering, argument. If it wasn't for God in our marriage, do I think it would be a good marriage? No. When we first met, I wasn't even thinking a lot about religion, the Bible, God. My husband claimed to be an atheist, and over time, I began to really search my heart, and I began to believe in God. My faith wasn't where it is now, but I was starting to open up my eyes and study the truth and what the truth is and the Bible a little bit. And I began to pray for my husband that he would see the light and God would touch him. And eventually it did. And I mean, we even got baptized together in front of hundreds of people. And I still remember that day like it was yesterday. And so without God, I would not have a good marriage. With that being said, you can both believe in God, and one of you could still be abusive, sadly. And if you are just not serious about making change, they're going to keep just verbally assaulting you, emotionally assaulting you, and physically kind of scaring you. No man should ever swing his fist next to you, behind you, above you, anywhere around you to frighten you. He might as well have just hit you, because these are red flags all over the place. I'm just going to say this. You can both believe in God. You can both go to church. You can both pray. You can both worship. And one of you still be an abusive partner. My ex was actually a firm believer in God, and we often went to church. We did the things, and we had started praying over all of our meals and thanking God daily, but it did not change. It did not change the trajectory of our marriage at all. I had to get out. And finally, in the very end of 2002, in August of 2002, I made the leap and I got out. I viewed an apartment one day, and this is back when you were still writing checks in 2002. I wrote a deposit check and I gave it to him. And literally within 3 weeks, I was in my own apartment. And I'm going to tell you, for the first 6 months, all I did was sleep, knowing that no one was going to yell at me, no one was going to hit me, no one was going to scream and holler and threaten me, no one was going to make innuendos about my death. Nothing. So the first 6 months on my own, I slept. And that's a lot of what I did, was just work and sleep and relax into my peace of mind and my peace that was now mine to keep. Your peace is always yours to keep. And you have to protect your peace. And you can ask the Father, if you're in an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage, and an abusive situation, ask God to protect your peace. Tell Him you're putting on the whole armor of God. No weapons formed against you shall prosper. But remember, that's not going to change their abusive ways. A good marriage sometimes has to come to an end, and it needs to end before something really, really bad happens. You can remember back when your marriage was so good and it was great, but I'm going to ask you, was at the time you were having a really good time in your marriage and you were happy, was God present in both of your lives at that time? And is God fully present in both of your lives now? Is He fully present in both of your lives right now, every minute of every day? If you cannot say yes to that, you know nothing is going to change. Nothing. And sometimes that good marriage just becomes fractured with abuse, abusive language, abusive mental control, and humiliation, and alienation is a form of spousal abuse, where they just do something else and they ignore you. They do not acknowledge you unless something has to be done. If you've got to go shopping, if you've got to go to church, it's time to go to dinner, yeah, they're going to acknowledge you and say, hey, it's time to go to dinner. Hey, it's time to go shopping. Hey, we're going to this show tonight. But that is not a good marriage when they ignore you and they're in their own world and they only acknowledge you when it's time to do something, complete something, or go somewhere, something of that nature. Even if they go to church, they can still be abusive. My ex and I went to church a lot, and the man was still abusive. Guys, I'm going to tell you, if you are in an abusive situation right now, if you do not have a Bible, get you a Bible. Start reading that Bible. Read it every day. Find your peace and strength in that Bible. Get into prayer. Stay into prayer. But even though you do these things, that abuser is not going to change. You know that at some point you'll have to get out of that situation when that person refuses to change and refuses to accept God full-time into their life. If the Holy Spirit isn't present, it's a waste of your time. You can pray from sunup to sundown. If they refuse the Holy Spirit to be present in them at all times, you have to take care of yourself. You have to preserve yourself. You have to protect yourself. And sometimes you have to say goodbye to what once was a good marriage. I am very grateful to have a very good marriage. I've questioned it in the past, but then I realized no marriage is picture perfect, and mine is better than a large amount of couples out there. Mine is a very good and stable marriage with God in the lead every day. I am so blessed to have a spouse that takes God with him every day, and I take God with me every day. And when we do argue, we try to remind each other of God being present in our marriage, and that we have to watch what we say and what we do to each other every day, every night. So I just wanted to come on here and talk about this because there are a lot of people that are in a really bad, painful marriage, and they're bouncing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when you do that, the abusive partner is just going to get worse and worse, because they're recognizing you're playing, you're not serious about leaving, you're just playing, and you're contemplating, you're not going nowhere, you're just thinking about it, you ain't leaving, you just want out, but you don't have the strength, and they know it, and they're going to use that against you constantly. Anyway, guys, I could go on a really long time about the subject, but you guys, I'm done for now. And yes, we are going to start the book series, the new book series, New Year's Eve, around New Year's Eve, so that we can have it started at the beginning of the year. I will put that video. I'll tag that video that I did yesterday on here, so you can see the video and what the book is and what it's about for our upcoming series. I love you all so much. God bless. I'll pray for you. Stay safe. If you want to comment down below, if you're struggling in a really painful, abusive marriage, come and join us in our channel, in our community. We are here as a powerful and strong community under God, under the Holy Spirit. God bless you guys, and I have more content coming. Yeah, I will tag that video with the upcoming book series in this video. Much love. God bless.